The story I'd like to read to you today is the one named Runaway Mittens by Gene Rogers. And this is a story about Alaska, a little boy in Alaska. Now, Alaska is one of our states that we have, but it's not connected to the rest of them. It's way up north, and up north it's very, very cold. And oftentimes this is the way the boys and girls have to dress in Alaska because it is so very cold. Now, I got this book when I was up in Alaska, only I did not go in the wintertime. I went up in the summer when it was very nice and warm. And because it is so cold, they have to wear warm mittens and warm coats. And this is the story about Runaway Mittens. Pika's grandmother knit him a pair of bright red mittens. No cold can sneak through these mittens grandmother knits. Her stitches are so small and tight and smooth that Pika thinks they are the finest mittens he has ever had. But these mittens were always getting lost. "Have you seen my mittens?" Pika asks. "Have your mittens run away again?" his sister Etta asks him. "How is it that my little brother's mittens won't stay in his pocket where they belong?" Etta is always teasing Pika, but she finds the mittens on a shelf where they were put to dry. "Mittens," Pika says, "will you please stop running away?" Now, at school the next day, the teacher says, "No one can go outside for recess without caps and mittens. It's too cold and too snowy," she says. "Have you seen my mittens?" Pika asks everyone. Well, George helps him look, and at last Pika spies a bit of red on the floor behind the radiator. His mittens were there all the time, getting warm and dry. "Come on," George calls to Pika. "Let's go out or recess will be over." One day there was a big hole in Pika's mitten, and he takes it to his grandmother. "I should have made some sealskin mittens for my grandson," she says. "With the fur turned inside, your fingers would never be cold." "Oh," said Pika quickly, "but these mittens are just right for playing in the snow." And grandmother smiles at Pika. "You're right. I'll get some red yarn and I'll sew up the hole. And when you're old enough to hunt seals and walrus, my grandson, then I will make you some fine sealskin mittens. Now, red wool mittens are just right." Pika's family are going fishing this Saturday morning. Everyone is ready to go except Pika. "Oh, Mittens," said Pika, "why do you always disappear just when I need you? And look, he looks everywhere. Those mittens are not on the shelf. They're not behind the stove. They're not under the couch. They're not in his toy box." "What is that bit of red sticking out of your pocket?" asked his mother. "You need special glasses made just for finding runaway mittens," Etta teases. "What I need," Pika answers, "are mittens that never run away." And finally they're ready to fish. A few days later, a big storm comes howling out of the north. The snow swirls in all directions. Look at those snowbanks. Up and down, around and about, and Pika and Etta can barely see their way home from school. Father has brought Pin into the house, and fixed her a box by the stove. It's too cold for her to have her puppies outside. There'll be no school until the storm blows over. And then a few days later, the sky is bright and blue again. It was so cold and still outside that everything sparkled and crackled. And Pika and Etta are getting ready for school. But where are Pika's mittens? Last night they were safe in his pocket. Now they're nowhere to be found. They're not on the shelf. They're not in his boots. They're not behind the stove. Etta! Pika shouts, come and see! Pin had her puppies last night. And Etta looks into the box. 9 little sled dogs with white paws and black noses, she said. But what is that red thing under this puppy? My mittens! Pika shouts. This time you stay right where you are and you help Pin keep her puppies warm. Now Pika looks at the wriggling, squirmy little puppies. It's all right, Pin, he says softly. I'll keep my hands in my pockets. Spring will soon be here. I don't know if it's so cold out. Pika really should have his mittens, should he? Maybe he'll find some other ones to wear. And this is the story about Runaway Mittens by Jean Rogers.